listening to Over the Oxer podcast with Tracey Cole for all things to do with the mind for equestrians. I'm thrilled this week to be able to welcome Anne Gage to the podcast because I followed Anne for many, many years and we've known each other for a long time as well. She's known as the horse riding confidence coach and she specialises in helping midlife horse riders with their anxiety to help them to achieve their goals and strengthen the connection with their horses. So Anne's been a coach, a riding coach for about 35 years. She's a horse trainer. She's certified in many different mindset modalities, including NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy. And she's also an author of a book called Confident Rider, Confident Horse. So big warm welcome, Anne. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. We haven't talked for so long and I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. I want to just start with, you live in Ontario at the moment and you have very strong links to the UK, don't you?
I do. I was born in the UK. I was born in Yorkshire.
And your family, some of your families over here still, or they moved back?
My mom moved back after living in Canada for close to 50 years. Once my dad retired, they moved back. And so I'm often in the UK 2 or 3 times a year to spend time with my 91-year-old mother. And now I have a circle of friends over there, both online and in real life.
Yeah, you're completely bilingual, I think.
Yeah, I am. I even understand Geordie.
Well, yeah, because you're up in the northeast a lot, aren't you? That's where your mum lives, up in the northeast. So also what I find really interesting is that although you've been in the horse world for years and years as a trainer, as a rider, as a confidence coach, you started with ice skating.
I did.
Years ago.
Yeah, I started with figure skating when I was about 9 or 10. I always had a passion for horses, but we could only afford one or the other. And because I was in skating was sort of my social life at that time. I stuck with it until I was a teenager.
Oh, so a long, long time, actually. I mean, when you think about a teenager's world, the percentage of your life was quite high.
Yeah.
What switched you over to horses then?
Well, I stopped skating for one. So I finished high school, a secondary school, and did a brief stint at university and left there and started working. So I pursued my other passion, which was the horses. So I did some riding in my teens. I worked part-time at a private barn, and in exchange, I didn't get paid. I got to ride the pony that their daughter had lost interest in. But I didn't take real proper lessons until I was 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And then got married young. So I had to give it up again. And then had an opportunity to buy a horse, doing what you're not supposed to do, an unstarted 2-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the horse Trooper, who he was a saddlebred cross, and it led me to getting into an established proper riding stable where I could get help with him and for me. And it's actually there that I started teaching riding lessons, along the way a few years later. And led to this so it's Trooper that led to this whole path. That I'm on.
So you're riding this 2-year-old, or maybe he was a bit older by then.
He was a bit older by then.
So you're riding Trooper, you're getting a few lessons in yourself, you're teaching a little bit. What drew you into this world that is kind of like fraught with all kinds of obstacles? There's money and financial issues. It's emotionally draining. It's confidence sapping.
Why do we do it? Why do we do it?
What made you take the plunge and stay with the horsey world?
Well, I got into competing, showing. Over here we have the hunters, the show hunters. And so I was in a hunter jumper barn and I was doing that, moved on to some different horses, off the track thoroughbreds, ex racers became my show horses. And it got to the, eventually we moved to the farm that we're on now, 30 odd years ago. And so I was running my own riding program here and I got into breeding and I was riding one of my young horses who bucked me off. And for some reason, now I will say I was around the age of 40.
Mm.
For some reason, that fall, even though I wasn't hurt at all, completely shattered my confidence. And that's what led me on to this helping people with their confidence route.
Right.
Why did I stick with this? Because it combines all the things I love, horses and teaching.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. And I was able to combine here when we got
Yeah.
our own place. But the whole confidence thing, when I did it, I couldn't find anybody to help with your confidence. You didn't talk about losing your confidence and being afraid. It was just, well, over here, it's like cowgirl up, get
Yeah.
back on and just ride. And I couldn't.
Yeah.
I could not put my foot in the stirrup. I was that scared.
Really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
massive. So prior to that, you just had normal level concerns when, you were on a young horse or, a spooky horse or whatever. So
Yeah.
you've never had any real confidence issues.
I was training problem horses. I was starting young horses. I had come off many times. I have no idea why that particular one had
Yeah.
that effect on me, but it was so debilitating.
Yeah.
And I could not be a coach. Well, I couldn't train horses if I couldn't get on them, but I
Yeah.
couldn't even be a coach if I couldn't get on a client's horse and demonstrate or address an issue with the horse. I just would have had to give up.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that. So I just worked away I knew a little bit of NLP because I'd read Tony Robbins' books
Yeah.
years before. I read Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Mm.
And it took a while. It took a long while. But I got through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was when I realized how many other women, especially women around my own age, were struggling with it, because if they talked to their coaches about it, was just ride through it, just
Yeah.
push through it. And that was not
Yeah.
helpful with that level of fear.
Yeah, absolutely. I got asked a question yesterday and I thought it was quite a funny question, really. And the question was, it's mainly women in this case, but not exclusively, but mainly women who struggle with confidence. Why do they keep doing it? Because if it was any other sport, you would give up and you go and do something that was easier or safer or cheaper.
Yep. Yeah. Well,
Why?
that's one of the first questions I ask people when they want to work with me, because it's important that you have a strong drive to overcome the fear. And it's the connection is the first thing, most common thing that comes up, is that connection with the horse. They don't want to lose that. And it's just something that is so important to them. You might think it would be community as well, but not all of the people I work with are in, a riding facility where there's a community around them. It's really the strongest thing is there's something about that connection with the horse being
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah. It really, it can't compare to any other sport, I don't think, or none that I think of off the top of my head. It's that emotional connection, but it's almost on another level, the
It
connection.
is.
It's almost
Yeah.
telepathic or something like that. And because it defies logic to keep going. It completely well, the whole thing about equestrianism
Yeah.
often defies logic.
The other word that often comes up is freedom.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of freedom. I can get away from everything. It's just me and the horse, doing whatever it is we're working
Yeah.
on, whether that's going for a hack or, whether you compete. It's me and my horse,
Yeah.
that partnership. and I can leave the other stresses behind, which when you lose that confidence, now it's another stress.
Yeah.
And they want that stress relief, that freedom back.
Yeah. So when somebody seeks you out and they say, I've lost my confidence or I've never been confident, whichever way around it might be, what's the pathway for them? What do you do with a person through their coaching journey?
Well, we have an initial talk to find out, what's going on for them and whether they're comfortable with me,
Yeah.
because that's important. We've got to have some rapport. And then my main program, my one-to-one coaching, is a package of 4 sessions that generally we schedule about a week apart. And the first one, we do a lot of talking because sometimes, interestingly enough, the person comes and thinks, oh, it's this particular thing that's made me afraid. And we go get into it. And really, it goes a little bit further back. Or they might not know
Yeah.
why, because women often, when they become mothers,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of a sudden anxiety about riding happens because now they've got somebody else that they've got to look after, or even, having aged parents that you're looking after, or
Yeah.
a spouse who's
Yeah.
become ill and you're the sole breadwinner. So we do that initial discussion about what's going on for them. We sort of pick it apart. And throughout that, I'm already starting to apply the NLP and the
Yeah. Yeah.
hypnotic language, hypnosis. And then we work through each of the sessions. It's like a fresh step. Where are you this week? What are we starting? I hear all that noise behind me. So that's the basic. And as we go through each session, there's a little shift.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And often by the third session, they're doing just fine. And the
Yeah.
fourth session, we're just finalizing things and picking apart. Is there anything else that's coming up that we need to work on?
Super. Super. And this is online? Anyone could.
This is all online, just like you and I
Yeah.
are talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the person's, in the comfort of their own home
Yeah. Yeah.
and don't have to travel anywhere.
No. No. We don't have to think about parking or
No traffic or any of that. Weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's lovely because I get to work with people from all around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do you still teach riding? Is that
A
something?
little bit. I'm
Yeah.
sort of semi-retired. I'm not taking on new riding clients. I'm 63, turning
Hmm.
64 this year. I've had enough of dealing with the extreme heat in the summer and the cold in the winter. So I've just got my existing clients that I've
Right.
worked with for
Yeah.
years that I go out to see. And the only horse I train now is one that I lease, who's an ex racehorse. And I get to do what I want to do in my own timeline with him.
It sounds good. It sounds good. I didn't know whether you still saw people face to face, maybe more local people for confidence sessions and things like that, or
I
workshops.
do, I do in clinic. So
Yeah.
I'll still go out. I every year I go out to Nova Scotia
Yeah.
and do a clinic there. And I mean, if someone locally got in touch with me and wanted some help, I would
Yeah.
I would work with them.
Yeah.
But I'm not hanging my shingle out advertising for
Yeah.
riding lesson students.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can well understand that when you've done it for a certain number of years. And like you say, the weather is against you. Lame horses, lame people. It's difficult after a number of years, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's pushing, probably getting close to 40 years since I started.
Yeah.
I'm that old. That since I started,
I think you've
since I
paid your
started
dues.
coaching. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The weather is hard.
So most people go through this set of 4 sessions online, having a chat with you. What then is the difference between that and I know you do a one-to-one breakthrough. What's that all about?
That's the one-to-one breakthrough
Right,
is the
that's
4
what.
sessions. Yeah.
Ah, okay. And what then is different about the group coaching that you do?
So the group coaching, it's a membership. but so you sort of like a subscription that you can stay in as long as you like.
Yeah.
And it's lovely because it's this lovely group of like-minded like-minded horsewomen of a certain age who are all rooting for each other, who all understand the different challenges that
Yeah.
we have. Some of them have their horses at home. Some of them have them at livery or boarding. Some of them are not riding their horses,
Yeah.
but enjoying them from the ground for different reasons. There's a couple of women in the club that are in their 70s.
Oh, great.
And so with some physical things going on, they're not able to ride.
Mm.
But so we talk about things you can do to enjoy being with your horse without riding. Some of them compete, some of them are pleasure riders. And we just talk about every 2 weeks, we get together on Zoom. Actually, my next call is on Sunday. And they bring whatever to the table.
Yeah.
So we
And
talk about mindset, we talk about horse care, horse management, we talk about groundwork. One of the women sent me a video trying to lunge her horse, and I broke that down on the call.
mm.
And so, yeah, I love it. It's a fantastic group.
Oh, that sounds really good that you can send up a video or you can show a video and then get everyone's opinion, get your expert opinion. You can see then how somebody's riding physically, but you can also then tap into what they were thinking and what was going through
Yeah,
their head, which is really good.
yeah.
Well, I like that. So how would somebody join your group coaching if anyone's interested?
Well, I'll give you the link if you want to put that into
Yeah,
the notes after, but it's
yeah.
simply you click on a button
Oh, great.
and you can join. It's $150 for a quarter, so 3
Yeah,
months at a time. So you get 6 group coaching sessions out of that.
yeah,
It's all recorded and I've built up a resource library inside what I call the stable. The So there's the recordings of every call back from when I started it almost 4 years ago, and then other resources that we've put in, which are video resources, articles, hypnosis. We do a hypnosis in almost every session, hypnosis or a guided meditation at the end, and all of those recordings are in there as well.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. One of the things that I was thinking about as you were chatting, you were talking about women who maybe have a family or they've got the older relatives and the confidence issues are now appearing. One of the things that I've started to see more and more, probably because I'm aging too, is the perimenopausal women and the menopausal women.
The
Do you,
big one.
do you find that as well?
Yeah. Well, because that's the age group I'm working with.
Yeah.
So my clients tend to be 40-ish and up.
Yeah.
They said some into their 70s. And so, yeah, we're dealing with all of that. And anxiety is a part of the perimenopause. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been through it. Thank goodness I'm on the other side of that now. But it does impact women. And that's one of the things where they're saying, I don't understand why all of a sudden this is
Mm,
so stressful
yeah.
in some way for me. Riding is no longer enjoyable. And again, there are ways through just an awareness of what's causing it and then some mindset techniques
Yeah.
to help alleviate it. And having that support is a huge one to say, oh, it's not just me. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. That's really nice, either in the one-to-one or the group coaching, that you can say, do you know what? I think this is an age thing or this is a menopause thing,
Yeah.
hormonal thing. And
And
nobody's going to laugh at you or say, oh, don't be silly.
oh, no, definitely no. It's all support. There's no judgment. And mostly people nodding their heads going, yep, I get that. And the other thing is that so many women have coaches that are younger than them that haven't
Mm,
reached that point yet. So they're great coaches, but they don't really get what it's like to be that scared
yeah.
and not be able to stop feeling that way. Or they don't understand what's going on because of the hormones or because you have some physical insecurities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because maybe your body's not as flexible as it once was.
Yeah.
So having people around you who understand that and
Yeah.
can help you. If I have a client who has a coach, I'll say, well, ask your coach to say this to you in that moment.
Mm.
because this is going to help you more,
Yeah.
right? Something as simple as, rather than saying breathe, remind you to exhale. Make
Yeah.
that long exhale, right?
Yeah.
And so just little things like that
Yeah. Do you
make a
work
difference.
with the coaches, the actual riding coaches sometimes, or is it through the riders more?
It's through the riders and
Yeah.
the coaches. I'll hear back from the riders say, my coach is saying, well, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And I've actually worked with one or two riding coaches who had lost confidence, but of course, they don't
Mm.
want to tell anybody.
No, no.
And so, they have found me and we've worked together and addressed their
Yeah.
issue. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's quite big and quite common, isn't it? That a riding coach, but maybe this is their source of income. This is the way they make their money, and they suddenly feel maybe like a fraud or an imposter because they've
That
lost
was
their
me.
confidence, and yet they're still teaching, but they're
Yeah.
hoping to God that nobody says, "Can you
Nobody
stop
finds
one
out.
and show
Nobody,
me?"
nobody can know how scared I am and who am I going to talk to about it?
Yeah.
Can't talk to the other coaches about it. I
Mm.
can't talk to my students about it. And who's in your world that's
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So I understand because I
Yeah.
was there as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people say when they find me and come to me is, I read your website, or I read something you put on social media, or I watched your YouTube, and I know you understand
Yeah.
because
That
you've experienced it.
And that's massive. That is really massive. And you find it as well with people who might have gone up the levels in competing
Hmm.
and they've assumed some kind of, niche or level in their discipline and they lose confidence. But again, how do you tell people? Because you're not going to go on social media and tell people. I'm so,
No,
Especially if you've got owners, you're not riding your own horses. How on earth
no,
do you tackle that? Because you want a safe space. Because it may be that in your locale or even in your country, maybe even in the world, people know who you are. They have an expectation that you perform in a certain way,
yeah,
and maybe you train their horse in a certain way, or whatever it is, and you've lost your confidence. And it might be, like we were saying, through some kind of life change, and it's not necessarily connected with riding. But yeah, it is so valuable to have that person and know that it's in complete confidence, there's complete understanding, and you're going to get sorted.
yeah,
It's even
yeah,
better.
and it's going to be confidential. Nobody is going to know that you're going through this,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
that you've sought out help. So it's very private.
yeah.
And
And I,
because again, if you're doing it online, you're not even having to tell anybody I'm going somewhere.
yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to take a day off, and you
No,
won't see me.
yeah, I'm just on my laptop here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, I
yeah.
think I think that's incredibly important that people who have this certain ability to either coach or to ride and ride other horses, that they don't feel so isolated if anything goes wrong with their mindset or their mental health. They've got
Hmm.
there right on their doorstep. Well, right in their back bedroom, actually.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right in your own home.
Yeah. So what's your favorite intervention? What's your favorite thing to do with your clients? What
Oh my
gives you
goodness.
a buzz? Is it hypnosis? Is it NLP?
I love hypno.
Visualization?
Well, it it's not so much. I mean, I love hypnosis. It's
Yeah.
just so effective. But so are many NLP techniques, and they're so kind of intertwined with each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it's not so much the individual technique; it's just seeing that light go on in
Mm,
my clients' eyes, seeing that
yeah.
smile come when I say, "Okay, now think about going to do whatever it is used to bring on the anxiety. Imagine yourself out there doing that later this afternoon or tomorrow, and they're beaming. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it instead of at the beginning of the call when they're like, and their whole body language and
Yeah.
facial expression is so miserable.
Yeah. 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 That's magical, isn't it? That's something very special, and as mindset coaches, we're really privileged to be able to witness that and be
Yeah.
part of that. I think that's
Yeah.
so special.
And I remind them it's not me waving a magic wand talking about being magical. It is magical the way it works,
Mm.
but they're doing it.
Yeah,
I'm guiding them through it, but they are doing it. So that's important for them to realize that they can go off on their own now. And, it's not going to change
yeah, because they can do it. They can do it
because
inside
they can
their own
do it.
head. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't
And
need you.
they've got the tools. If they notice something is starting to get triggered, or something different happens, they've got the tools to adjust it, to
Yeah.
to be resilient. That's the word I'm struggling to find. That resilience.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you give us, and this is another curveball question, can you give us quick little mindset tip or trick or, just something that somebody could do inside their head really quickly, even just a different perspective or a reframe, anything at all?
Really quick one, because I've just been working on some affirmation cards. And so people will say, oh, just keep repeating to yourself, I'm confident, I'm capable,
Mm-hmm.
some positive affirmation like that. And this used to happen to me too. And this little voice in your head says, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So you change it and say, what if I am? What if
Mm,
I am capable? What if I am confident? What if I am able to canter beautifully?
yeah.
And then your brain it loves questions like positive questions like that, where it'll find the evidence and the solutions to support that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's great because you've got in there a question, so your mind is compelled to answer it in some way, even if you don't know it,
Yeah,
but you've got that embedded command. What if I am confident? So that I am confident is your command.
that's
So
right.
it's on multiple levels. That is so clever.
And I just did this something similar with a client recently who came to me. She kept saying, I'm not confident. I'm not confident. And I've said, okay, let's stop using that phrase.
Yeah.
You get tense in some situations, but you're a confident, capable rider. You're confident,
Mhm.
competent, and capable.
Yeah.
Repeat that to yourself. And
Yeah.
again, I saw that look come over her face where she went, oh, you're right. I get tense in some situations,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I am a confident, capable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be careful the words that you're using and how you're describing yourself because your brain will believe you,
Yeah.
whatever
And
you tell it.
and I think as well, some people, the way they describe their horses, that goes against them as well because that's then reaffirming that the horse is spooky or the horse is on its toes or the horse is hot or whatever words they're using.
So that's the other part I bring into this work because of my understanding, all my decades of working with horses. And I've been through, sort of traditional horse training, natural horsemanship, and now into more evidence based, modern understanding of horses and their behavior and using positive reinforcement.
Hmm.
And so I do call people out about stop labeling your horse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's take a look at why your horse is behaving the way it's behaving because we're addressing not just the mindset of the rider. That's great. We can do that. But if your horse then goes out and rears or
Yeah.
bucks,
Yeah.
that's not going to be helpful in the long run. So let's look at what's going on for your horse. And then you can help your horse. And as you're helping your horse, you're building your confidence too, because you're getting a deeper understanding of each other.
Mm. Yeah.
And when you understand that the horse's behavior is being caused by things similar to what's causing your fear,
Yeah.
we get that empathy. It again makes that shift.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose people want quick results as well, don't they? People are very busy these days and they want instantaneous results. But if they were happier with the incremental, small results, then you would see massive results over a longer time period.
Yeah.
Do you find that people are in a rush to change themselves or change the horse?
Not so much, I think, with the age group that I
Yeah.
work with. And
Yeah.
often they've been struggling on their own for so long
Mm,
with, this might have been going on for years for some of them.
yeah.
And so being able to, and when you can work through it in 4 sessions,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
pretty quick. That's four
Yeah.
weeks, but you're getting shifts before that. So it is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Um, and again, the changes, my phrase is, a vet said this to me a long time ago. Good things happen slowly, bad things happen fast.
Oh, wow. That's very philosophical, very deep.
So we take time to, we've got a rocky foundation, or we've got a foundation that's falling apart. We've got to rebuild
Mm,
that foundation. And if you've ever rebuilt something or renovated something, it can often take longer than starting from scratch,
yeah. Yeah.
right? But then you've got a solid base for both of you.
Yeah.
And things can happen, not, in the snap of a finger, but they can happen pretty darn quickly. So you can change a belief in snap of a finger,
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
right? You know that. So some things, yes, can happen quickly and start a bigger shift. When we're undoing things when it comes to the horses, depending on how deep a behavior is ingrained, it can take a little while. But if it's something like a misunderstanding between our body language, a miscommunication, too much pressure, once you make those changes, it can be almost, well, not necessarily instant, but pretty darn quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
The horse starts to change, when you change.
Yeah. And you work together, don't you? You change the horse change. You change the horse change. So it's like going up a ladder together.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's coming in for you for 2025? What's on the horizon?
So 2025, I'm probably hosting one, maybe two clinics in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm focused on doing webinars, free webinars for my audience, one a month, and just continuing to enjoy the horse that I work with, Taz, bringing him along physically and mentally. And yeah, maybe cantering this year, because physically he hasn't been able to canter. And we've been together for 3 years now. So that's what I'm working on.
Super. And where can we find you online and on socials?
Online, I'm on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel.
Yep.
I'm on Facebook. I have a free group called the Confident Horsemanship Community. I'm on LinkedIn. And of course, there's my website, confidenthorsemanship.com.
Super. I will put all of those down in the description box so everyone can find you. They can find your free webinars. They can find all the details of your courses and your one-to-ones and your group coaching. And I think you're going to get a few calls.
Oh, that's great. And I do have, if anyone is interested in some anti-anxiety tips,
Yeah.
stress, decreasing their stress, their fear, I have a cheat sheet that has 10 different techniques that I can give you the link to that, but they can also get it from my website, just a free download.
Fabulous. Wow. Yeah, I think you're going to generate some interest, Anne. Thanks ever so much. That has been such a great conversation. It's lovely to catch up with you, and we need to do it again sometime.
Yes, we do. We need to get together when I'm in England one of these times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracey.